Ghost monsters Every year, hundreds of trick-or-treating children dressed as ghost monsters, werewolves, and vampires are accidentally murdered because they are mistaken for real ghosts, monsters, werewolves, or vampires. This has been set up as a public service to help you to properly distinguish between real ghosts, vampires, werewolves, or monsters, and innocent children in costume. Because there's nothing more embarrassing than doing life in prison for accidentally murdering your neighbor's kid. Telling the difference between a real vampire and a costume child can be difficult, especially since the majority of those who dress up as vampires tend to be very into role play. To truly determine whether or not the creature in question is a real vampire, fill up a super soaker water gun with holy water and fire a few shots. If the vampire in question sizzles and smokes, then congratulations, you are officially the neighborhood vampire slayer. But if the only result is a little runny makeup, a confused look, and maybe an exclamation of, "What the f***?" then your vampire is not real. But when word gets out about the douchebag neighbor shooting little kids with a water gun, the public embarrassment and ridicule you'll experience will be very real. Note, if you don't have any holy water lying around, you can always get some for free by dipping a cup into the toilet of the second bathroom stall from the left at your local church. But be sure to flush first, because if your holy water has anything floating in it, well, that would probably be a piece of holy shit. The only way to kill a werewolf is a silver bullet through the heart, but you'll have to act quickly because werewolves tend to move fast, have no impulse control, and will not hesitate to rip out your intestines and gobble them down like chicken lo mein. Now, there are two types of people in this world. One, those who can properly identify real werewolves, and two, those who are spending the rest of their lives in prison for firing a round of silver bullets at a group of first graders dressed up as werewolves. So listen up. Real werewolves like blood and human flesh. Children, generally speaking, do not. We suggest you slice off 3 fingers on your left hand, grab a handful of Tootsie Rolls in your right hand, and present both outstretched arms to the werewolf in question. A real werewolf will attempt to devour your bloody left hand like a Charleston chew. A child dressed up as a werewolf will either take the candy from your right hand or freak out and piss themselves when they see all the blood from your left hand. Either way, you'll know immediately if your werewolf is real, and isn't that knowledge worth at least 3 fingers? So you need to determine whether or not that white blob at your doorstep is really a ghost. Okay, real ghosts rarely eat Reese's Pieces or bite-sized Snickers, and all historical evidence indicates they do not shop at Bed Bath & Beyond, Linens and Things, or anywhere else they might obtain the classic white bedsheet that makes up most ghost costumes. Also, real ghosts tend to terrorize their victims while invisible, or at least 50% transparent. So if you cannot see through your ghost in question, it's probably not a real ghost, just a child with very little imagination and or low self-esteem. If you need further proof, try poking it in the eye holes. If your hand goes straight through to the other side, it's a real ghost. But if it runs away screaming for its mother, then it's just some candy-crazed kindergartner who got poked in the eyes by an idiot who thinks ghosts are real. And yes, in this case, you would be the idiot. Monsters, much like condoms, come in so many different color sizes and flavors that we couldn't possibly explain all the differences to you, even if we thought you were smart enough to remember them. Instead, we suggest you get a pitchfork and a torch and chase all suspected monsters through your neighborhood. Now, here's the important part. If they run from you in fear, then you have successfully found a real monster. And it's you. And the easiest way to make this monster disappear, as your neighbors will soon discover, is with a magical piece of paper called a restraining order.